And welcome again for boosting your ads via AI. This is a lesson 2, and in this lesson we'll be discussing the key factors affecting the cost of your ads. In the previous lesson, we already talked on what is so different from this our current age of social media, and how can we really leverage on these differences, and what is required from us as a marketers to do a really better job to really make use of these channels at full. And now in the second lesson, we're going to talk about the key factors, key parameters that affect our ads cost. So let's go. We will be talking about why it's not always only organic, why we need ads, what affects the ads cost on social media and on search engines, right? It's pretty much similar programmatic systems. So what affects the ad cost there? And we'll be breaking down different cost parameters to let you know really in detail what are these key factors and how do they impact your advertisement. So if you look at this picture, you will actually see that organic has drastically decreased over time. And if in 2011 you were having about 26% of people really seeing your content when you post it organically, in 2018 it's just 0.2%. And why it has dropped so much? Well, there are many answers. The first one is, of course, Facebook really try to make sure that real relevant people get relevant content. They don't want to just push all content to you, because otherwise the user experience will get declined. And if it gets worsened, then Facebook wouldn't have users. But there is another important reason. You need to understand that Facebook gaining revenues from advertisements. So they'll be doing all possible ways to increase their revenues as any business for profit, right? And that is happening. You can see this white line going up. This is the Facebook revenues. So the organic reach drops down and revenues of Facebook going up. This is not bad or good. This is the reality. This is what's happening in the world. And this means to you as a marketer that you have to really learn how to do paid ads correctly if you want to be staying relevant, if you want to still stay on the top of minds of people on social media and digital channels, search engines, and social media marketing. So efficient digital marketing is really hard. You have this puzzle, you have to construct every day. My 2.5-year-old daughter, she likes to construct puzzles, and it takes her maybe half an hour to construct one. In your case, you have to construct these puzzles every day, because you are getting a new content, you're getting a new events happening in the world, and this puzzle, in your case, will be the settings of the campaign you're running. So how to make constructing this puzzle fast? Answer is, one way is to use AI technology, and we are talking in this course of how to use this AI technology. But why this puzzle exists in the first place? Why it's not just very easy just to click the button and run the ads? Well, there's multiple criteria here. The first is Facebook, Google, they're constantly changing their algorithms. They're improving. They want to make the ads more relevant. They want to put new placement, new categories. They have the world keep evolving, right? They want to make it different, and this difference makes it makes them really relevant. So Facebook have to change algorithms, and of course, they wouldn't be revealing it to you. They'll be just changing, and you'll be witnessing the results, and you have to cope with it, and you need to have technologies that can really help you to understand these changes very fast. Second is, of course, organic reach has dropped over years. You have to advertise. This we already discussed just now, and we are getting regulations. We are getting a number of scandals happening around the world related to privacy concerns, related to particular goods can be advertised in certain places but not in the rest, and many other regulations. All this impact the digital marketing, impact the size and complexity of this puzzle you have to construct every day. And all these factors are make it really challenging for you, and makes us search for a better solutions, and also makes us to dig deeper into understanding the costing aspects of our ads. So if you look at the cost factors, these factors that affect the ad cost, you can see that there's actually a number of them according to official Facebook documents and also some other reviews. You can see that target audience is very important cost factor. The people who we target, the marketing objective is important because it defines where we are in a funnel. The budget that defines the delivery speed, and therefore it's very important because we all know that spending $1 will give you X result, but if you spend $100,000, definitely your results will be more expensive because you're tapping into bigger audience, and this is important. Competition, one of the key factors. You have your competitors, all of them are also on Facebook and on Google. They want to compete with you, they bid for similar keywords, similar topics, similar interests, and this will affect how it will cost for you. And of course, we also need to choose when we should advertise. We need to choose the right ad placement, whether it will have to be squarish, it has to be desktop or mobile, it has to be for a particular format, right, of the ad, say like a video or image, or it has to be square format or landscape or portrait format. All this affects the cost, definitely, and the relevance. Relevance is pretty much the score that Facebook gives to you, and it's up to Facebook and Google to decide how relevant your ads are based on other criteria on top you can see. On the right here, you can see that for different industries, depending on competition and various factors, the cost of the ads vary, and they can vary from anywhere of $0.63 to $3.77 per click. And really, this is not exhaustive. So actually the real cost can vary from very, very close to zero to very, 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 very high cost for certain industries, certain brands. And you really need to make sure that you understand how it works. Otherwise, how can you navigate it? Yeah. So let's just break them down one by one. And we start from a target audience. So people with a certain demographics, with a certain interests, they are users of Facebook, users of Google. And certain demographics and so-called psychographics profile can get more rich than as compared to others, and this really affects the how many people you can reach through social network and media marketing channels, but also the cost of your ads, because you might get tapping for interest that too many advertisers are also competing with, or tapping for keywords that too many other advertisers are competing with. So you might want to slim down your audience, but actually slimming down audience also will lead you to the higher cost, because once you narrow in the pool, you don't let Facebook system to go too much out of this very, very narrow audience, so they'll have to bid for expensive bids, they'll get in ad cost high. So how to select the right targeting options while retaining the reasonable size of your audience? This is a key question you want to answer every time you run campaigns. And where to find these audiences? You know, in Facebook, there are hundreds of thousands targeting options. Just 2 weeks ago, Facebook just removed 1,000 of targeting options out of what they had. Did you know that there is 1,000 options in the Facebook to target through the interests? Probably some of you even didn't know that. Maybe you use only 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 interests your target, but Facebook just removed 1,000 out of hundreds of thousands that they have. And this, you really need to know how to navigate among these interests and keywords. Marketing objective, yeah, very important, because it defines your funnel consideration. If your brand awareness is not very high, and you start trying to run the lead campaigns, it might not result in the leads because you might not prepare your audience yet. They might not even know yet. We had an example of industry when a food supplement company entered Japanese market. They were very famous in US, but they were not famous at all in Japan. And then they're trying to tap into market. They get a lot of engagement because people are curious, but when it comes to sales, it just didn't happen. Till they build a proper marketing funnel to educate people, then make them consider, and then buy, and then advocate back to the brand. And after that, this conversion have came. So choosing the right marketing objective is extremely important for your company. And this is already related to your strategy. So the strategy of your brand, and maybe agency helping you with your strategy, or your house team doing that. really be sure you are choosing the right marketing strategy. And competition. You see this three marketers on the right side, they're all competing for the same burger, and the ones that paid the most, they're receiving this burger, and other two who bid with the lower bids for this burger, they didn't receive the impressions, they didn't receive the chance to show the ads to the brand. So this is quite a fair situation, and this is called competition. Just imagine a real auction. You have a whole of marketers, and the item that gets distributed through the auction is a chance to show the ad to a particular person, show the burger poster, right, to this person. One marketer say, I'm willing to pay $1, another one say, I'm willing to pay $2, and the third one say, and I don't mind to pay $1 to $3, and these $3 win, and then the guy go and show the banner and sell this burger, and other two wouldn't. So this is a competition, and this is what is happening in programmatic systems like Facebook and Google, and this is happening very large scale, right? Really huge scale. Is millions of bids in a fractions of a second get auctioned, and then some of them get won, and most of the people get lose it. But that's how they show the ads. And competition really affects the cost of your ads. More people compete for the same category, same people, more expensive your ads will be. When to choose to advertise? So you can see this picture basically showing that in different time frames, you might have a very different cost per result. It might range, in this particular example, from 0.91, I guess, to 0.93. Yeah, why it's so different? Because different time people convert differently, and you need to account in this. This is because in different time brands compete differently first, right? So cost per impression, the CPM will be different, it will be higher in the peak hours and low in other times. But also people convert at a different speed. So your conversion rate might be higher in a place when people look into their phones. Let's say they travel in MRT, in the metro, and they look at it, and then they read the ads, they browse the phone. And it might not work during the working hours because people are working, they are not browsing Facebook. And placement also might differentiate. Sometimes they use computers, sometimes they use their mobile phones. So it really affects the cost. And yeah, this basically is the time when cost is more expensive. You can see it's closer to the second, late afternoon, and that there is explanation because people are more busy at that time. And you can see that in the other timing is the lunch time. People are more busy, more in the social media, more competition, so they're getting a higher cost. Then ad placement, where you show your ad is very important because the format not just defines how different demographics of people will respond to your ad, but also different placement have different competition because advertisers might choose not to show the ad in one placement but show in another one. But also the placement must match your audience, must match audience device, must be displayed well. The creative have to really get tailored to the placement in order to make it really work for you. And the relevance score. Relevance score is something Facebook assigns to you. And just a couple of examples you can see here. So the first example, the score is 2 out of 10, 0.2. When you advertise some fashion product to men and women aged 18 to 34 who live in the United States. And then in the second case, you change targeting to only females who live in the United States and age 18 to 34. And your relevance score increased already because Facebook track, okay, this audience seems to respond really much better than the first one on your ad. And that's why the ad get a high relevance score. And the third case is women 18 to 34 live in the United States and interested in fashion. So you added a fashion interest inside, and relevance score get 8 out of 10 because now Facebook really get helped by you to deliver to the right audience, the fashion audience. So it's a good example of how this relevance score gets affected by your ad. And I guarantee the first ad will be definitely performing much worse than the last one. And you might have a very good content, but without making all these parameters right, you might still get low relevance score and not so good ad performance. So which factors we can we can really affect, right? The factors is of course target audience, because we can set up it nicely. We can, like just example with the fashion interest. We can also affect the relevance score, right? And we can affect marketing objective, budget, competition, when to choose advertising and placement. So we kind of can set up all these parameters, and we kind of know what is our objective if we have a right strategy. We can decide how much the budget, and we can see over time what is our average delivery speed, so we can make a right speed. We can decide when to compete, or overall competition is something happening in the industry, so we want or we don't want, we want to participate in the ad, we will have to pay for the competitions there. We can choose when, we can choose ad placement. So we can choose target audience, but how to choose out of this thousands of hundreds of thousands keywords and interests? And also we probably want to affect the relevance score, but seriously, you need to really find a very good combination of first metrics to affect the relevance score. So it's always a question for you. So how to do a better relevance score, and to do so, how to choose the right target audience to really improve on your ads. So just now we talked about the key factors, and these key factors really affect the ad scores, and you really need to know how to make these key factors to be properly, to do a good relevance score for you, to help you to run more efficient ads. But in the next lesson, we'll be discussing the free AI tools that actually can help you to choose all these criteria, especially targeting, and then in the end, to help you to run much more efficient ads. So I see you in the next lesson.